we are so... Headphones? All right, welcome back to another behind the scenes breakdown. This one is for my latest project, a low budget short film called The Sound of Baseball. If you haven't seen it yet, please check it out. It's less than 3 minutes long, so I promise it won't exhaust any attention spans. But before we dive into the BTS, I wanted to clarify, ask, define, what makes a film a film?
Webster's defines it as an agreement under the law which is unbreakable.
So let me start by saying I personally don't think a cool-looking video with voiceover dropped in it constitutes a film. I mean, I'm probably not saying anything new here, but I think a film has to tell a story. It has to have an arc, a character that wants something, a character that goes on a journey, resolving some question or conflict, or maybe not resolving it. Here's a super stripped down version of a basic story or character arc. And you can extrapolate this into, for example, the Joseph Campbell hero's journey. That's probably one of the more common story arcs. But I'll come back to this story arc when I break down the voiceover I wrote for this short film and how it all fits in. For now, let's jump into the shoot. So one of the most important things to do during pre-production was to find the location. As I was creating my mood board and shot list, I had the location in mind as I saw something in a local community newsletter mailer thingy from quite literally several years ago, stating that the township had purchased this mansion in a public park, or maybe a nonprofit purchased it back from the township. I already forget, but you can rent it out. So I reached out, I took a tour.
Now eventually you do plan to have dinosaurs on your dinosaur tour, right?
And thought it was perfect for this project. The only caveat is, due to scheduling, we had to rent it out on a weekend, which unfortunately cost twice as much. But the most important factor in why I ultimately decided this was a great space to rent was because many of the rooms were already decorated. It wasn't just a shell that had no soul or that we needed to bring props to and set deck. But all in all, this was a unique location that just checked all the boxes we needed it to. As far as gear goes, 98% of this was shot on the FX3 and a Sony 24-70 f2.8 G Master version 2. There's a couple of shots that were filmed on the 70-200 G Master version 2 and the Sony A7RV. One shot with the Sirui 1.33x f1.8 50mm Anamorphic, and one shot on the Action 5 Pro. But the FX3 and 24-70 did all the heavy lifting. The camera is such a beast. I think I've only updated the firmware once since I got it years ago. Anyways, as far as lighting, we used two Nanlite Pavotubes and a Nanlite FC500B with either a Rapid 90 parabolic softbox or the Nanlite projection attachment, specifically for the press conference shots and the slash of light for those pull-up shots. And honestly, it's not even a 50-50 split. I think it's more of a 70-30, meaning I think we used natural lighting for 70% of our shots, and I'll break down the lighting a bit more later, but what's important here is that with a small, light, and mobile crew, for a low-budget project like this, all shot in one day, the gear should be light and mobile too, if that makes sense. So let's kind of run through the shots and talk about the lighting. The hardest part about all of this was getting the first couple shots under the belt. Once we did, then we started moving faster. But even this first shot was tough. Just playing around with framing, motivated lighting to ND or not ND. Also, what happens when we open these? Now I just wonder if that does make any difference. Okay, that's down here, yeah. Ooh, that haze is looking nice though. So
I think what I'd do is turn off the tube.
Turn off the tube?
Key from that side.
I do feel like already that angle's better.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking we just shoot it. And then ironically, as Luke, one of our PAs, leans back, boom. Help get, oh, that was nice when you actually sat back and we got that sun, but.
That's cool.
Look at this.
I think that's great.
Dude, look at
my eye, it looks good.
Yeah, look at that. Luke, lean forward. Here's where he was, now lean back.
That's fine, you could have done that as well. But yeah, that's great, I like that.
Fucking A, that's the shot.
That's the shot.
Right there.
They gotta lean back.
We knew that's what we wanted. And yes, I get it. Harsh light, soft light. I can't think of a ton of shots where I'd want the light so harsh, but the sun, that's the source. So I can live with it. Shout out to our BTS photographer and PA, Lewis, on this shot, by the way. He literally just showed us a shot from the movie F1, I think.
A wide would be cool. Louis just showed me a wide from the F1 movie.
Yeah.
Like just one wide of him like on the couch.
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah.
We can do that last though. We get all the tights first.
Like showed us on his phone and that's how we framed it. Happy little accident with the bat rolling away too. Moving on to the bathroom scene, there was a practical on the wall which didn't flicker because, let's face it, they don't make them like they used to. So we actually just left that on as it was pretty warm, then just covered the windows to lower the ambient light in the room. Looking back, I would have done these shots of him looking in the mirror maybe a little bit different, but all in all, they worked. The writing on the mirror was just an idea I had, worked out in the montage. The shots of him yelling at himself are a nod to Lahain, if I'm saying that right. Top down was on the Action 5 Pro, which I had the wrong settings on it, so I just made it black and white to hide my mistake there. And the shot of the baseball in reverse coming out of the aquarium, I filmed that literally right here in my basement in front of the backdrop. Same with the shots of the sand and the rocks in the later press conference montage. And even though I think all those insert shots of the baseball and sand and rocks worked and served their purpose, again, looking back, I probably would have done it slightly differently, but it's fine. Moving on to the shots in the foyer, all natural light. Definitely knew what these would look like with the angle of the sun from my tour of the space during pre-production. Natural light made getting these easy too, and while I was shooting these, Vinny was able to set up the table and lighting for the press conference scene we were going to film next. So it was a good workflow, which I had mapped out in our schedule to make the shoot efficient. As far as this press conference scene, this was the scene that sparked the entire project. I wanted to do a press conference shot for my demo reel and portfolio. Then it kind of just snowballed into this short film idea. But again, light and mobile, pretty stripped down and simple. Spotlight on him, center framed, and maybe looking back, I could have pulled him off the wall a bit more, but I'm still really happy with these shots. We got some close-ups and him doing different things.
No, you right there. You haven't shut the fuck up.
And I knew in the edit we were never really gonna hear what he was saying, but I wrote it and had him read it anyways, just so I could use that audio with a reverb effect in post. Moving outside, and this is where I really had to lean into the limitations, especially in the edit, we kind of moved quick to get the shots of him hitting, as it was freezing cold and getting dark quick.
The cold's probably brutal for hitting, huh?
Yeah, no, this sucks.
Looking back, I wish I got more shots outside and maybe even fielding shots too. Ultimately, I wanted to do another night of pickup shots, hitting and fielding under the lights on an actual turf baseball field, but it didn't work out. Overall, I'm fine with this, as I think in this ending sequence, the VO does a lot of the work to make this work, but it's one of those things where I could have done another shoot, another 3 shoots, another 5 shoots.
5 is right out.
But eventually you realize that it just drags things out. I didn't finish this short film, I just abandoned working on it to move on to other stuff. As an added bonus, one reason I think we were able to get so much, even though I didn't get everything I wanted to and would have loved to do more shoots, but we succeeded in getting so much in this one day, was because I planned everything out in pre-production. The mood board, the shot list, and the production schedule. On the flip side, a couple things I got wrong or definitely could have done differently are the back-to-back montages of the bathroom scene and press conference scene. There's a little breather in the middle of those, the shots of him in the foyer, but I think the bathroom and press conference scenes really do serve the same purpose, and I wonder if there was a more efficient way to do it all. Again, I'm fine with it, I just think I have to be honest and critique it and call it what it is, a little bit redundant.
You dick.
I already mentioned the elemental insert shots of the sand and rocks I got here in my basement. They definitely worked, but I'm sure it could have been improved upon. And lastly, not having a night of pickup shots in a different wardrobe, in a new location, under the lights on a turf field was not ideal, as it would have added, I think, some visual interest and variety to the shots, but I won't lose sleep over it.
Bullshit.
Can't stress it enough. Lean into the limitations. That's what I kept reminding myself. What can you get in one day of shooting? Can you tell a story from one day of shooting in one location? What I think really makes this short film a film, and tells the story, is obviously the voiceover. I wasn't sure I was even going to use it when I wrote it, but now I can't imagine it any other way. It carries it. And I had the idea of what I wanted the film to be about. The pressure a high school athlete faces as they look to commit to an NCAA athletic program.
Thinking of trying out for a scholarship.
Give me the ball, man.
So once I heard Ryan's story, it made writing that script really easy.
I've thought up an ending for my book.
I'm really happy with the VO. Write something that speaks to you, that is personal to the athlete, or talent, that is a voice for them and for your creative perspective.
And he lived happily ever after.
That's why we do this. That's why we play the game. And also, his Philly accent, like, come on, gold.
You know, he's trash, he can't hit, he's all hype, he's overrated. He's a clown.
So, touching back on the story, why I consider this a film, here's the voiceover dropped into each one of these story beats that I showed earlier. Question, what they want?
Ever since I was a little kid, all I wanted to do was play baseball.
Backstory, adding some depth.
But then this weird thing happens. You start getting older, you start getting better. You become known for how well you perform at this thing, instead of how much you enjoy the thing. You lose sight of why you started playing in the first place.
On the conflict, obstacles, challenges, it's straight over the plate, pun intended, when he states,
Then the offers come in, the questions, more pressure. Where are you gonna play? Where are you gonna commit? This program is great, that program is great. Everyone's got something to tell you. Everyone's an expert about what you should do. I've suffocated under the pressure of others' expectations.
it's good writing. I mean, that is as obvious a challenge, a conflict, an obstacle to overcome as any, rising above the expectations and external noise of everything going on around you. The resolution, ending reflection, is now obviously,
Then I realized the path had to be my own. The decision had to be my own. The journey had to be my own. So after a while, I tuned it all out. And when I did, I heard the only thing that mattered, the sound of baseball. Because you know what? In the end, it's not about your stats, where you play, or how good you are at baseball. It's about how good baseball is for you.
it's a nod to playing for the love of the game. It's a cliche, I know. Realizing why he started playing in the first place. It's the hero deciding to go their own way,
I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father.
make their own decisions, be free of the aforementioned external pressure, expectations, and noise of everything holding them back. So that's the voiceover, that's the story arc, and that's why I do consider this a film. All right, another big cliche coming in. I could not have done this without the team we had. Starting with our producer, Brendan. Brendan runs a local sports media startup called Delco Baseball. This whole project was very Delco, by the way. If you know, you know. I mean, nothing screams Delco like having a discussion about the best hoagie, cheesesteak, pizza place throughout the day, all day.
I'm just trying to get normal Italian hoagie, no tomato.
I think this one has salami.
Prosciutto, salami, ham.
Yeah, I want chicken bruschetta. That sounds really
hot
good.
sandwich?
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Roasted red peppers and broccoli rabe. Oh, I love that.
It looks like he's got the Detroit style down. Oh, let's see, I'm big on the basil too.
There you go.
I'm big on the hot and honey pepperoni is my.
Chicken, okay.
Chicken cutlet parm?
No, I'll put this one.
Super Delco, but I digress. I had worked with Brendan in the past doing photography for Delco Baseball, and I knew he would be able to help facilitate securing our talent and even lend some insight into the process and mechanisms of a high school athlete, specifically a baseball player, choosing to go the NCAA route. I also just appreciate someone who is out there shining the light on local teams, players, schools, organizations, creating a startup, being resourceful, and kind of carving their own path within a media field that is often outdated and frequently full of gatekeepers.
I choose business ethics.
So kudos to him and Delco Baseball. I'll actually just let Brendan explain what Delco Baseball is.
I knew that I wanted to kind of promote this area and kind of bring the sports coverage a little more 21st century was kind of the way that I explain it. I was journalism major at Penn State. Started really doing stuff covering the Phillies, and then I realized nobody cared what I had to say about the Phillies because it was an oversaturated market. There was so much out there. So I started realizing, well, let's do what nobody else is doing, but nobody was really taking the social media route, the route of like game broadcasts, the podcast, all that stuff. So I wanted to make them all feel like professionals, basically. Yeah. You played high school baseball in Delco, but now you're going out all across the country. We do that for the college kids, the minor league kids. So just trying to, keep Delco on the map, basically.
See, I knew he could explain it better than me. But when I hit him up and explained the project, Brendan right away said, I got a guy for you, whose story coincidentally kind of fit the story I was trying to tell with this short film. That's how we got Ryan, our talent. And here's the key. From a filmmaking standpoint, creating a short film like this about an athlete, I would rather have an incredible athlete that is open to acting rather than an actor who can't throw a ball to save their life.
Just do your report. We
that's in his school so you can flunk out.
But really, this meant that in terms of the self-imposed and even external limitations we had for this project, I could flex my creative muscles a bit and learn how to direct, but direct an athlete, not an actor. It was a welcome challenge, and I really can't give Ryan enough props for being comfortable on camera, taking direction, having fun, and being great to work with. From my experience, because youth sports actually makes up a lot of the pie of what I do and how my business makes money, great athletes also carry themselves in a way that I knew would translate on camera. I was confident that his swag and his energy that was evident in our first pre-production Zoom meeting would be there during the shoot. So again, all the props to our producer Brendan and our talent Ryan. Next up is the hero we need, but not the hero we deserve, my guy Vinny, who I've worked with a bunch. I've also linked Vinny's channel below. Go give him a subscribe and check out his work. He's awesome. But because I've worked with Vinny a bunch, I knew his style and his skills and how he could take my often spazzy, disjointed ADHD ideas and ground them to get the job done. Light a scene, start rolling, etc. and so on. I could also hand him the camera for a bunch of shots, freeing me up to direct a bit and or DP. It's good to have people you have worked with and trust make the production run smooth. For our BTS photos and first production assistant, Vinny brought his buddy Lewis on. Lewis and I had followed each other on social media before, but never worked together. And he absolutely crushed it, not only because his BTS photos were fire, so much so that I used one of his photos for the poster and thumbnail for the film, but also because he just knew his way around set and PA'd and never really needed to be told what to do. He's one of those people that was always in the right place at the right time, doing things and moving things and setting things up in anticipation of what we needed before anyone had to ask. I've also linked Lewis's socials below as well. Go give him a follow, he's awesome. All the BTS video you're seeing was filmed by my buddy Mike, who I work with frequently in the sports world, specifically lacrosse. Mike is a super talented sports videographer who worked at a university down south for a while. So quite frankly, he was overqualified for shooting BTS video. But again, someone I know does a great job, is fun to work with, can crack jokes and have a good time throughout the day, but get the work done when it needs to get done. Then my guy Luke came on and helped PA too. Luke's another guy we all work with in the sports world. He's crushing it too. He's only in high school. I mean, I wish I was doing this stuff when I was his age, but he PA'd, was a sit-in, and even ran and picked up the lunch order I got for everyone.
Hey, people gotta eat, right?
My only regret with our team is that I couldn't pay everyone triple what I paid them. But everyone was super cool and eager to help, understanding that I already spent a few $1,000s out of my own pocket to make this project happen.
Virtucon alone makes over $9 billion a year.
So to get such a talented team like this assembled at a discount, which is not a precedent I want to set, was something I'm very grateful for. I obviously offered them anything they captured and overall were a part of for this project that they could use on their own portfolios. But I mean, it's all part of the game. We freelancers and small production companies all play with our spec work and passion work on our own dime, on our own time, to get portfolio and website pieces with people that are eager to help creatively, and hopefully it all leads to higher budgets where we can bring those people on at their full day rates. So I think that's it. Thanks for hanging out and watching if you made it this far. Like, comment, subscribe, all that usual stuff. Let me know if there's anything you'd like to see me break down next related to this project, or maybe not. I'm no expert with sound design or color, but one day soon I'll do a post-production breakdown. I thought about doing it for this video, but the edit was kind of straightforward. Yeah, anyways, that's all I got. See you soon. Peace, all that good stuff. Go. All right, same thing. Same thing, stay in place when you hit it. I'll tell you where to go, where to do it.